Bloom News Brief. More info at fullandbloom.com. Frankie Banali's widow, filmmaker and actress Regina Banali has weighed in on the recent Nikki Sixx Carmine Appice drama, which was ignited after Appice claimed that guitarist Mick Mars was unhappy in the band prior to his retirement from Motley Crue. Regina commented, "I have to agree with Nikki Sixx on this 100%. I was disgusted that Carmine Appice had the nerve to try to lay claim to my husband, Frankie Banali's talent a few days after he passed away. He went on a podcast and the person asked him to comment on Frankie's passing, and instead of paying tribute to him, he claimed that it was his drum sound on Metal Health and that Frankie actually thanked him for it. A blatant lie. Frankie was furious at Carmine for saying to him at a function that it was his drum sound. Frankie fought him on it and was steaming after that exchange. For Carmine to say this BS a few days after he passed was sickening. It's why he was not invited to the funeral or party, and why I have zero respect for that man. His comments did get picked up by the clickbait merchants, but it didn't get that much traction. Everyone pretty much knows Carmine is full of shit anyway, so I didn't say anything at the time. But I see he continues to make enemies with this nonsense." During an old school Full and Bloom interview with Carmine, which has never been published before, the legendary drummer explained how he got the drum sound for Quiet Riot's multi-platinum album, Metal Health.
I went on and did a solo album on Pasha.
That's like what, 1980 or something?
82.
Okay. And that's got to be like the first signing to Pasha, or almost, right?
Well, I was signed around the same time as Quiet Riot. Came out before me. The first thing I did with Pasha, I brought the Ted Nugent album in there, 1982, right? And he was just getting ready to do Quiet Riot. And the fucking drum sound was terrible in there. So I did the Andy Johns drum sound with Duane Baron, the engineer. And we put wood up on the floor all around. I did the position of the mics and showed them what to do with them. And we came up with the Carmine drum sound of Pasha. The first album he used it on was Quiet Riot.
What's funny is I've interviewed Alex Waltman, which he was on, I think.
Alex was the engineer.
Yeah, Alex helped it.
Alex was the second engineer.
Right, yeah. I think even Motley Crue came to Pasha to record just the drums, and then they went.
Because of me, thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it must come from you, because he was saying.
It came from me.
Duane knew how to get the perfect sound out of that drum room.
Yeah, because I taught him how to do it.
Incredible. And so what, you put wood up, so you did stuff to the room?
We sent Alex or whoever went, I said, go get a bunch of plywood from the Home Depot, 8 by 10, or 8 by 8 pieces of plywood. And we lined them up because the whole studio was all rugged, all on the from the floor to the ceiling.
Right, so just
and the
dead.
The floor was dead as shit. So we put that all around the studio. That livened it up with the wood floor. It gave it the live sound. And then I told him where to place the drums in front of the control room with the back of the drums facing the glass. So you get the bounce off the glass. And then where to put the room mics and where to put mics inside the bass drums with a full head on it and a mic outside the bass drum. And where to put the what mics to use for the rooms, what mics to use for the overheads, mics to use on the toms. It was all me.
I'm just curious, back then, was it 421s on the toms and a 57 on the snare and things?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
And you remember what you liked on?
421s inside the bass drum. We had to rewire them, cut them, put them in the bass drum, and then wire them. Solder them, and then unsolder them to take them out. It wasn't the bass drum that was always there. It was whoever's drum set. I did it on my drum set. We did it on Frankie's drum set. And I went there, a couple of days when Frankie was recording, and they weren't recording, but they were there. The drums were there set up, and I saw them. There was my setup. I used to say to Frankie, you fuck, you got my 5 million seller on my drum sound. And he used to thank me.
Duane engineered Metal Health, right?
Yes.
Incredible.
And at the time, he was the engineer. Larry Brown engineered. Duane was the second engineer, the Nugent album, right? But
Okay.
Larry didn't want to do the sound. Or Larry left or something happened. So Duane was the guy that ended up doing it. And I did it with him. I put my drums up, we experimented, got the sound. I go, yeah, that's it.